Mr. Raghu.
Hello, Venkat.
Hi. So, today the blockchain is one of the most trending technologies. Probably I'll start with the first question. What is blockchain?
Well, blockchain is a distributed consensus in simple terms. Just two-word answer is that it's a distributed consensus. What it really means is that previously all the systems were decentralized, and blockchain technology has given a solution for decentralizing all your transactions and ensuring that even though it is decentralized, the source of truth remains for the transactions that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And all parties who are involved in this particular transactions agree to that source of truth.
Okay. And today we talk about the cryptocurrencies and specifically Bitcoin. In fact, many people who are aware of at least the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So how do you differentiate the blockchain and the Bitcoin?
Yeah, so it all started with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first blockchain solution that was successfully implemented. There were previous implementations earlier to that, but Bitcoin was the most successful implementation. So what's the difference? Largely, if you look at it, there are two types of blockchains. One is something which is accessible to the entire public.
Okay.
The distribution network it's open,
okay.
It's accessible to the public.
Yeah.
And then the second part of the blockchain is something that enterprises want to use within their ecosystem.
Okay.
It could be within their company, it could be within a group of companies,
Mm-hmm.
or a limited stakeholders.
Okay.
So that's called as a permissioned blockchain.
Okay.
So Bitcoin was primarily a permissionless blockchain, and most of the other blockchains that are coming up, and not just Bitcoin, all the cryptocurrencies typically tend to be permissionless.
Yeah.
And most of the other blockchains that are coming are permission, which means limited access.
Okay.
Now, the other difference would be the what are you trying to track? Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies like that
Yeah.
mostly track one or more information, primarily the currency,
Yeah.
and that's why it's called as a cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Those currencies are not physically available.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, blockchain can track pretty much anything of value.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
Okay. And how do you think? It's today the cryptocurrencies, extensively uses blockchain. How do you think? The blockchain can be helpful for the businesses, other than
A
the
lot.
office side, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of business problems which
Yeah.
were previously considered to be difficult to solve,
Yeah.
mostly around things like auditing,
Yeah.
things like consortium of one or more businesses coming together on a single platform.
Yeah.
Now, these problems were slightly difficult to solve earlier because of centralization. Every business had their own central servers.
Yeah.
And there was no single place where people could trust each other.
Okay.
Every business had, for example, their own ERPs.
Okay.
So although they are doing complementary transactions,
Mm-hmm.
there was no single source of truth. Now this is what blockchain does. It provides two or three things. One, it gives a system which can be trusted.
Okay.
It also ensures that the transactions that are being logged are immutable and incorruptible.
Okay.
So a lot of problems that were previously difficult to solve are being solved now.
Okay. When you say ERP, even this can be, blockchain can be leveraged along with the existing, ERP infrastructure, ERP systems?
Absolutely, yes. And a lot of effort is going on in building blockchain as a service that interacts with other cloud applications, including the ERPs.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. So now, why blockchain suddenly, going such a, buzzword today? Nowadays, any specific reason? Today it's a buzzword, in fact, in the industry.
Absolutely, and it started off with Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
The success of Bitcoin is largely the reason why you hear a lot about blockchain, because it did solve a very specific problem of decentralization and distributed consensus. Now that problem being solved, the industry felt that there is a lot of scope, in addition to looking at it as a cryptocurrency, there is a lot of scope to do or solve a lot of other business problems.
Okay.
So that's the reason why it came into the mainstream, blockchain, and then there were a lot of consortiums, large companies that started putting in enough resources to build enterprise-grade blockchains, or to build a blockchain which can be tracking more than just currencies. So,
any specific use cases? I mean,
oh, there are a lot of use cases. If you look at it today, if I broadly divide it, you have the financial services industry which is using blockchain. Then you have the supply chain where there are a lot of use cases that are being implemented. E-governance is definitely one of the core of creating any trusted system, and blockchain fits in very well with that. And there are things like healthcare industry, automobile industry. All of them are trying to standardize their transactions, their assets that they want to track. So there are a lot of use cases that are being developed right now. I can give some examples. For example, in case of financial industry, there are a lot of P2P lending and P2P payment solutions. There are solutions around custodian of documents. For example, you create a letter of credit, and those letter of credits are locked inside blockchain because of the fact that blockchains become immutable or incorruptible. Anybody can be sure that what is being locked is accurate and is not changed over a period of time. On the supply chain side, there's a lot of potential if you integrate blockchain with IoT. So IoT can feed in a lot of information into the blockchain, and there you build in a lot of efficiencies, build in the device, a blockchain for devices. Those kind of experiments are going on. There are a lot of successful companies which have implemented this. There are use cases around proving the provenance of a particular product or goods. For example, you want to track a very high valuable good, the country of origin to the country of consumer, and in between stages where all it has traveled. If you want to do that, you can do that. So all these use cases are possible because of two things. A, that the transactions being logged are cryptographically very safe. They cannot be, they're immutable, incorruptible. And then there is a decentralization platform that blockchain provides, which makes it easier for smaller players, small and medium enterprises, and then public in general, and of course the larger enterprises. All of them can come together on a single platform, which was previously not possible earlier. So all these use cases are in play.
Got it. The industries have started using it on a blockchain, maybe at the POC level, or already you are using it. How it can help those industries in fact?
So industries find it very important part of their technology stack today, blockchain being one of them. The reason is, previously, if you had to create any system of record, those system of record required a lot of expensive data models, expensive application development, and then the end result would be that the records are still managed by let's say a database administrator, and humans were the element which were actually creating the insecurity in the systems. So now with blockchain, what happens is because of the fact that it is immutable and incorruptible, that problem is solved for the industry. At the same time, the problems are solved in a much cost-effective manner. If you look at the blockchain as such, the transactions are very small, few bytes, maybe some kilobytes of transactions that are being logged, and it can be quickly bought up. I mean, there are blockchains like Linux Foundation's Hyperledger, or even Ethereum. They provide a lot of tools to bring up applications in a very short period of time. I mean, practically in a month's time, you can create a proof of concept and deploy that. So this gives a lot of cost advantage, and it gives a lot of security, and that's why that's what industry is looking for today.
So where does blockchain go from here?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because evolution of blockchain has already started. I mean, it started with Bitcoin 1.0. I would call it. And then the introduction of smart contracts into a blockchain, primarily first done by the Ethereum. And then, of course, a lot of other consortiums started picking up.
Yeah.
That created a different level of use cases possible. So that was an evolutionary step, I would say.
Yeah.
And then a third evolutionary step is these large number of blockchain frameworks that are being built by the IBMs of the world, and the large organization who are trying to make sure that the blockchain is provided as a service,
Okay.
which would further reduce the cost
Okay.
of implementation of a technology for the end companies.
Yeah.
So with this evolution, right now we don't know. The potential of blockchain is enormous.
Okay.
What's going to happen down the line is probably a lot of applications, the new ones that are being built, will slowly move on to blockchain technology.
Okay.
It's going to take time.
Okay.
I would say that at the moment, it's baby steps. There are 4 steps that industry would normally take. First of all, implement blockchain for their own inside the company.
Yeah.
For auditing purpose, for intercompany transaction purpose.
Yeah.
It's very effective there. Followed by industries coming together to form a group of companies,
Okay.
A consortium, and then each one is a stakeholder in that blockchain.
Okay.
Followed by industry level solution,
Okay.
where you create a solution for an industry,
Okay.
create the metadata definitions for the industry,
Yeah.
implement those data
Yeah.
inside the blockchain.
Yeah.
And finally, create a solution which is available for the industry but largely available to the entire public.
Okay.
So with these stages, you will see that the blockchain technology will keep growing.
Okay. And so blockchain as a course, we have been offering at myTectra, and could you please explain in detail what we cover as part of the blockchain courses?
Okay, so as a part of this course, what we will do is first we will look at cryptography as such.
Yeah.
Now it's not required for anybody to be an expert in cryptography to
Yeah.
understand blockchain, but it's the nuts and bolts. So if you understand cryptography, then most of you can build on your knowledge and understand the architecture of
Yeah.
blockchain.
Yeah.
So we will go through that.
Yeah.
We will look at one permissionless blockchain,
Okay.
and for that we have taken up Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The reason is again that it's Bitcoin. There's a lot of material available. It's a very popular blockchain, and fundamentally solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And we look at all the problems that it's trying to solve.
Okay.
So we are going to look at Bitcoin, which is a permissionless blockchain, and go into details of transactions, how transactions are built.
Yeah.
How consensus is developed, what's the reward mechanism, and entire discussion around the ecosystem.
Okay.
Then we will jump on to the second half of the course, where we are going to talk about a specific blockchain called Hyperledger Fabric.
Yeah.
Now this is a permission blockchain,
Yeah.
and it's an enterprise grade blockchain. We are going to look at what are the key terminologies used in Hyperledger.
Yeah.
Now we are going to use the knowledge that we have gained from Bitcoin to
Yeah.
build on to the knowledge that we are going to get from Hyperledger.
Yeah.
We look at how it is different in terms of consensus, in terms of the kind of transactions you can do, the kind of assets you can track.
Okay.
We'll look at all that.
Okay.
Finally, what we will also do is play around, look at some sample applications,
Yeah.
and try to create our own small application
Okay.
at the end of the course, and
Okay.
try to deploy it on a Hyperledger
Okay.
in our local systems.
Okay.
So there ends the course. Just one point that I would like to highlight is blockchain is not a coding language.
Okay.
So if an interested person
Yeah.
first need to know the technology, the architecture and the design
Yeah.
to be able to provide solution. Coding is something that is very important part of the blockchain because
Yeah.
of smart contracts.
Yeah.
And if you know the technology and if you know what kind of use cases you can solve,
Yeah.
then this piece, which is a critical piece of actually executing an
Yeah.
application, will fit in together.
Okay. Do we use some case studies also as part of the training?
I will be using a particular case study,
Yeah.
and not just one. We can over a period of time, as we are developing through the courses, we look at more than one case studies. We look at more than one use cases in detail.
Okay. I got it. So now, in fact, we get a lot of inquiries for blockchain. In fact, it means more people are interested. Do you think there is a real job is going to come for blockchain?
It's already there. If you look at monster.com or if you go to naukri.com and just search on blockchain, you will see all sorts of jobs that are in demand.
Okay.
You have demand for developers, senior developers, you have demand for architects, demand for consultants, you have demands for executive positions as well.
Oh, okay.
So these demands are pretty much available if you look at the job portal. Now, I would say that in India, it is still picking up, not as much as outside of India. But there has been industry predictions that by end of this year, 2018, India will have a lot of blockchain-related job openings in the market.
Okay, probably in the next financial year.
Yeah, of course. When I said 2018, I meant financial year.
Financial year, correct. Yeah. And what do you want to say for the people who want to jumpstart their career in blockchain? Do you think that's the right option or right career option they make?
I think, again, like I said, if you are into development of blockchain solutions, then these developments are nothing new in terms of the application that you're going to develop. It's going to have a UI, it's going to have a business logic, and the languages that are used for creating these blockchains are primarily Node.js, Go, Java based. So if you are looking at blockchain, then of course there is absolutely no risk associated with it because your technology is not changing. What is changing though is the way the technology is being implemented. And for that, this training is going to be very helpful because we are going to talk about how a blockchain can be implemented, starting from architecture, design, use cases, and implementation. So, and the other thing that I would like to advise is the right time to join. You have the first mover advantage in India if you are joining at this point in time. A year down the line, you will see that you have a lot of people who are. It's a premium skill right now, so it's the right time to join.
Okay. In fact, it's been picked up since last 6 months. There are many.
Absolutely. There are a lot of.
Probably the more people are inquiring about these courses. I think, as you rightly said, many people will be getting into this technologies. And I have a quick question. Anyone can do this course. Is there any specific background required?
I think that's a very good question. So let me put it this way. There are business analysts who would like to work on blockchain. Then there are developers who would like to work on it, and there are architects who would like to work on it. The course is blended in such a way that it caters to all the three needs. If you do not know coding, it is okay because we are going to provide some sample codes for you to get a feel of how the application is built and what kind of problems it solves. If you are an architect, then you definitely know how to what are the components of a blockchain and how to deploy it. And if you're a developer, of course, you can put in your hands, develop your own codes and deploy it. So this is going to be a blending for all the three.
Even the fresh graduates can do it?
Of course, fresh graduates can do it. But the only caution I would say is if you have a good understanding of programming languages, it's an added advantage for a fresh graduate.